Hello and welcome again to this edition of Phi TV. I'm your host, Brad Swanson. We're representing Florida Internet and Television, the industry that connects and entertains over 95% of all Floridians. Today we're joined by Representative Beltran. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me. Great to be back.
All right, you're always working on very heady stuff, super bright attorney. What are you working on this year?
Well, I have a bill to prevent the use of dark money in political campaigns. Obviously, people are allowed to speak, but we also have disclosure rules to make sure that we know who's supporting a candidate, who's opposing a candidate, how much money they're spending, and so forth. Unfortunately, in Florida, we have a lot of loopholes in our soft money laws that we don't have at the federal level. For example, you can coordinate with a political campaign. You can have soft money coordinate with hard money. The other thing that we have, and so it doesn't just become speech, it becomes campaign finance. The second thing that we have is we allow political committees to give money to other political committees. And if you can give to 5, 10, 15 different committees and you're also running other money through those committees, you can't really tell when the last committee sends out a negative mailer and they're the ones who disclose their identity.
It's kind of like a blockchain, what do they call it, washing machines or whatever,
it's
right?
It's kind of like laundering. It's not illegal, so I don't want to call it money laundering, but it is a problem in the sense that people can mail against you and you don't even know that they're mailing against you, or people can mail for somebody and you don't know who's mailing for them the way you do if somebody gives your campaign money. That goes on the disclosure. And so
essentially PCs, which are political committees, would be held to the same standard as candidates are.
As candidates can't give money to each other. You put the money into the candidate account, and then the money goes out, and both the donation and the expenditure get disclosed. Here you have the disclosure, but all it discloses is the money went to 15 different committees. Eventually you lose track, and you don't know which industry is attacking which candidate or which stakeholder. And so that's a problem.
Well, that sounds really complex. Yeah. So, and of course, that's why you're on that one. Okay, what else are you working on?
Well, I have another bill. It's also in the election space, and it simply says that nonpartisan candidates can, if they want, disclose what their political party affiliation is. A lot of times people will come to me for school board or municipal elections. They'll say, who should I support? The voter doesn't have information, and there's essentially a gag law in the statute right now that says that you can't say that you're a Republican or a Democrat or some other party. You're not allowed to say that when you're running nonpartisan. We have nonpartisan elections. My particular bill doesn't change that they'll continue to be nonpartisan elections. There's another bill out there that would need a constitutional amendment. My bill just says that the candidates are allowed to talk about it if they want, so that people aren't confused as to whether the person lines up with their particular beliefs or not.
Right. Well, that's an interesting one, because you would think a nonpartisan one would be, the highest and best and full disclosure and most transparent, but yeah, that one sits kind of behind the veil at present.
Yeah, so there shouldn't be a gag clause, and there's actually case law out there that says that violates the First Amendment, and people should be allowed to discuss their partisan affiliation, notwithstanding that they chose to run in a party.
So how are these bills doing? Are they heard in committees? Are they moving?
Trying to get them moving. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, you're one of the hardest working guys in the Capitol, so we know it's not because of your lack of effort. So we'll see. We want you back on the program to give us an update on how those bills are moving.
All right. I look forward to it.
Before you go, we ask this important question. We're not doing this important, super smart, heady work. What do you watch? What do you stream to take your mind off this process up here when you're working?
I've been watching 1923. I never really got into the original Yellowstone, but there was the 1883 and 1923. I like those a little bit better.
Yeah, it's good. Harrison Ford does a great job of that one. So.
Yeah, I've been watching the spin-off series.
Right, we'll have to compare those.
All right.
All right. Hang tight. That's all the time we have for this episode of Phi TV. Hit us up for more interviews like this one on our social media feeds, and for now, thanks for tuning in.